ANS News Video, January 2023. Hello everyone, and welcome to the first edition of the ANS News Video of the year 2023. We present the good news from the Salesian world, the participation of young people in our activities, the rich testimonies of the Strena, the active participation of the Salesian family in all regions, and the great feast of our Father, St. John Bosco. RMG Salesian Family Spirituality Days. From 12th to 15th January, about 300 members of the Salesian family from most of the 32 groups met in Valdoco with the Rector Major, father of the Salesian family, to reflect together on the theme of the Strena 2023 as yeast in today's human family, the lay dimension of the family of Don Bosco. The participants experienced moments of sharing in group, moments of prayer and evening of fraternity. During these days, all those present participated in the testimonies and contents shared by the speakers and young people. At the end, all the groups of this great spiritual family of Don Bosco celebrated, together with the Rector Major, the concluding Mass in the Basilica of Mary Help of Christians as thanksgiving to God for the grandeur of the Salesian charism. Celebration of the Feast of Don Bosco in Turin. Don Bosco Feast at Valdoco began in a grand style with a number of activities in preparation the previous day. The day of the festivity, 31st January, saw the Basilica of Mary Help of Christians always filled with the faithful who came from all over to pay homage to the Father and Master of Youth and to participate in the numerous Eucharists scheduled for the day. As many as 7, from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., or in the other spiritual moments planned. The high point of the celebration was obviously reached with the evening Mass with young people presided over by the Rector Major, Father Angel Fernandez Artim. Our young people as yeast in today's human family was the message that, in line with the Strena for this year, the 10th successor of Don Bosco delivered to all those present and to the boys and girls of the Salesian youth movement throughout the world. Madagascar. RD Congo. Over 900 people at the AFC Province Strena Day. On 8th January, the day of the Strena 2023 of the Rector Major, Father Angel Fernandez Artime, was held at the Youth City in Lubumbashi. The event presided over by Father Guillermo Bazanias, superior of the Central African province, was attended by over 900 people, including Salesians, members of the various groups of the Salesian family, students of the various works, and friends and supporters of Don Bosco. The assembly viewed the reports of the various branches and components of the Salesian family of Central Africa. Recreational and cultural activities presented by the young people and the Salesian Good Night concluded the day. Cameroon. 400 young people participate in the Don Bosco Festival. The Salesians of Don Bosco of the St. Augustine Theologate in Nicole FM near Yaoundé celebrated the feast of St. John Bosco with about 400 young people from the youth centers. The day began with a Eucharistic celebration presided over by the director, Father Rigobert Fumchum, and continued with a football tournament between the oratories. Then there was a drawing and singing competition on the life of Don Bosco. The event concluded with a cultural presentation with acrobatic and choral performances. America, South Cone. Argentina, North. Summer camp at Santiago del Estero. At the Salesian Don Bosco Oratory in Santiago del Estero, the summer camp took place from 18th to 31st January. About 500 boys and girls, adolescents and young people from vulnerable neighborhoods and contexts in the area took advantage of this festive camp proposal. A playful, educational and pastoral space. This proposal also offered these less fortunate young people with the opportunity to experience the holidays in an atmosphere of joy and formation, and to get to know and experience the youth spirituality and charism proper to the Salesian family. East Asia, Oceania. East Timor. Provincial chapter of the East Timor Vice Province. The Salesians of the Saint Callistus Caravaggio Vice Province of East Timor celebrated their second provincial chapter from 9th to 14th January on the theme, What Kind of Salesians for the Youth of Today? At the Don Bosco Formation Center in Komoro, Dili, 30 chapter members and 8 observers were present. The chapter was moderated by Father Jose San Juan. The days of assembly work, sharing, group discussions and personal reflection were enriched by the Eucharist presided over by Salesian Cardinal Virgilio do Carmo da Silva and by Father Anacleto Pires, Superior of the Vice Province. Vietnam. Salesian Family Day 2023. On 14th January, the Salesian Family Day of the Vietnam province was celebrated at the Filippo Rinaldi Theological Community with about 500 participants. After the presentation of the participants, the video of the Strena 2023 was screened and the Superior of the province, Father Barnabas Leon Fong, elaborated on the theme. This was followed by a dance performed by the FMA titled To Be Leaven in Today's Human Family, and a game show also inspired by the contents of the Strena. The festive atmosphere was also enriched by various musical performances. The climax of the day was the Mass presided over by the Provincial. Mongolia, first MGS meeting in the country. On 23rd and 24th of January 2023, the young people who frequent the three Salesian presences in Mongolia gathered for the first time and gave life to the first meeting of the Salesian youth movement in the country. The event, held in the Mary Help of Christians parish in Darkhan, was attended by 45 young people aged 14 to 28 who, accompanied by Salesians and their collaborators, were also able to experience the various activities prepared to commemorate St. Francis de Sales and Don Bosco. The enthusiasm of the young people was evident throughout the gathering, in which they shared friendship and received a broader understanding of the Salesian world that they were just beginning to appreciate as part of their own in a culture where Catholicism is still unknown. South Asia. India. 25 years of Salesian presence in Andamans. The Salesian mission in Andaman and Nicobar Islands celebrated the Silver Jubilee of their presence and also the Silver Jubilee of the parish St. Joseph Catholic Church, Ferrargunj, on the 7th and 8th of January. The Thanksgiving Solemn Eucharistic celebration was presided over by His Excellency Right Reverend Viswasam Selvaraj, the Bishop of Port Blair. Nearly 2,500 faithful, 50 religious and 30 priests took part in the celebration as gratitude to God for 25 years of service that the Salesians had rendered in this beautiful island. Kudos to Father Patrick Alphonse, the rector, and the Salesian community for the wonderful service rendered to the young people and the people of Andamans. India. Alumni of Don Bosco School Lilua celebrates 55 years of foundation. On 15th January, the past pupils of Don Bosco School Lilua, on the occasion of the association's 55th anniversary, organized an event attended by 650 people. During the evening program, they paid tribute to the Salesians of the Lilua community belonging to the Calcutta province, the 9 former directors and principals. The past pupils, who came from various parts of India and abroad, also visited the new facilities and the assembly hall and then attended the speeches by the principal, Father Manoj Jose, and the director, Father Davis Velian, the delegate of the Salesian Family of South Asia, Father Joseph Manipadam, and Father Joseph Pauria, Provincial of the Calcutta province, attended the event. North Central Europe. Slovakia, the Three Kings Concert. On 8th January, all the choirs of Kopanka gathered in the Church of Our Lady of Succor. The event was opened by the Children's Choir. During the concert of the Three Kings, the participants listened to songs in Latin, English, and Slovak. At the end of the event, all choirs sang two common songs, and the director of the Salesian community, Father Juraj Koval, thanked the performers not only for this performance, but also for the fact that throughout the year they help to live the mysteries of the liturgy with their singing. Austria. Study Day on the Rector Major's Strenna. On 21st January, at the Salesianum in Vienna, the Don Bosco Educational Forum of Austria organized the annual Study Day on the Strena 2023. The event was attended by around 100 people from the various groups of the Salesian family. All were able to listen with interest to the interventions of the various speakers, including the guest of honor, the Economist General of the Salesian Congregation, Brother Jean-Paul Muller. In the afternoon, these reflections were deepened and continued in different workshops. The day ended with the celebration of the Eucharist for all those present, presided over by the Superior of the Austrian province, Father Siegfried Kettner. Inter-America. Bolivia, 21st Provincial Chapter. At the Don Bosco Fatima House, the Provincial Chapter of the Salesian Province of Our Lady of Copacabana of Bolivia was celebrated. Around 35 Salesians from the province took part. The chapter moderator, Father Alvaro Rocabado Guzman, led the proceedings. During the closing Eucharist, the Provincial, Father Liar Justiniano Flores, encouraged the Salesians to continue the mission and in a spirit of renaissance to sow the seeds that other Salesians have sown in the country during these 60 years of the province's life. El Salvador. Salesian Days on Strenna at Don Bosco University. At the beginning of January, the Universidad Don Bosco of El Salvador, through the University Pastoral Department, organized Salesian Days, a space for meeting, dialogue, and sharing for the entire educational community. The aim of this meeting was to strengthen the Salesian identity that characterizes the university and to reflect on the actions that each of its members carries out to contribute to the formation of students. The Salesian Days were presided over by the highest authorities of the UDB, including the rector, Brother Mario Olmos, SDB. The events of these days allowed members of the educational community to meet in an atmosphere of reflection on the educational and support activities that the institution carries out for its students. Mexico. Bicycle ride in honor of Don Bosco. On 22nd January, the Salesian Cooperators, in collaboration with the Salesian Youth Movement of Alborada Merida, in the state of Yucatan, Mexico, organized a bicycle ride in honor of St. John Bosco, cycling between the chapels of the Maria Auxiliadora Rectory. In each chapel, they reflected on an aspect of the Strena 2023, and on arrival at the site, the coordinator or person in charge of the chapel welcomed the participants by sharing a short message inspired by the Strena. The aim of this activity was to promote the integration of the population in the south of the city by carrying out healthy and family-focused life activities as part of the celebrations in honor of Don Bosco. Family groups, oratorians, members of youth groups, Salesian cooperators and parishioners from the various chapels participated in the initiative. Mediterranean. Lebanon. Traditional meeting of the Rector Major's Strena. A meeting of the Salesian family was held in the Salesian house of Al-Fidar on 15th January, opened to collaborators, animators, friends and sympathizers of Don Bosco to present the Rector Major's Strena as the commitment to be made, each in his own sphere. About 200 people attended the event. The theme of the Strena 2023 as Yeast in Today's Human Family, the lay dimension in the family of Don Bosco, particularly stimulated the participation of the laity. In addition to what was shared by Father Simon Zacharian, director of the Salesian community, the provincial coordinator of the Salesian Cooperators of the Middle East also took the floor to illustrate the relevance of the Rector Major's Strena. The Rector Major's visit to Spain for the anniversaries of the Salesian houses in Baracaldo. From 20th to 22nd January, the Rector Major, Father Angel Fernandez Artime, visited the Salesian houses in Baracaldo to pay homage, together with the Salesians, the Daughters of Mary Help of Christians, the young people and their families, to the charism of Don Bosco rooted in that city, which, over the years, had been articulated through 3 great works, all of which are celebrating significant anniversaries this year. The first activity of the Rector Major was a meeting with educators and the educational community. On Saturday, Father Angel Fernandez Artime visited the FMA Institute of Nuestra Señora de Begoña, where he experienced a moment of interaction with the animators of the city's Salesian works. In the afternoon of the same day, at the Salesianos Cruces house, the 10th successor of Don Bosco presided over the institutional act of the closing of the anniversaries, followed by the Mass and an evening agape with the Salesian family. Finally, on Sunday morning, the Rector Major celebrated Mass at the Salesianos Baracaldo and afterwards took part in a fraternal dialogue with the Salesians of Don Bosco and FMA communities of the city. Spain. Meeting of Salesian oratories and youth centers in the Canary Islands. More than 800 young people took part on 21st January in the meeting of Salesian oratories and youth centers of the Canary Islands, held at the Salesian work in La Orotava. The young participants, representatives of the youth centers, active in the presence of the Salesians and the FMA in the Canary Islands, took part in a day of fraternity in Salesian style, with numerous sports and recreational activities, and experienced a moment of welcome and institutional greeting at the parish Nuestra Señora de la Concepción. The meeting was coordinated by the Don Bosco Youth Center. The city of Modica held a parade to celebrate Don Bosco. In Modica, the feast in honor of Saint John Bosco, father, teacher, and friend of young people, returned after the pandemic. As per tradition, the Salesian family of the Sicilian city gathered around its holy founder together with children, young people, adults, and grandparents. In the afternoon, the procession with the statue of the saint, carried on the shoulders of the animators of the oratory, started from the upper part of the city. The procession ended at the Mother Church of San Pietro, where the Eucharistic celebration was held, presided over by Bishop Antonino Stagliano. At the end of the Mass, Don Paolo Terrano, Salesian in charge of the work at Modica, thanked all those present, and a wreath was then laid at the bust of Don Bosco in the municipal square. Thank you for following us. Don't forget to share news from your region with us so that we can learn even more about the beautiful experiences in every part of the Salesian world. We look forward to seeing you in the next edition. Thank you.